Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something really important for our country's growth. We're going to look into some of the most essential manufacturing industries in India, the ones that are truly the backbone of our economy.
So when I say the word industry, what's the first thing that you think of? I'm guessing it's probably the things you see and use every single day, right? Maybe your clothes, your family's car, or even your mobile phone. And you're not wrong. But that's only half the story.
You see, industries actually have two very big jobs. The first one is, of course, making all the things that we buy and use. But the second job, which is just as important, is to make products for other sectors. For example, our farmers need things like fertilizers and irrigation pumps to grow our food. And for building anything, houses, schools, bridges, we need cement and steel.
So, in our lesson today, we are going to explore 3 of these core industries. We'll start with the chemical industry, then we'll look at the fertilizer industry, and finally, we will understand the cement industry. Ready? Let's begin.
First up, let's talk about the chemical industry. Now, this one is really interesting because it makes the basic materials, the building blocks, that so many other industries need to make their own products.
The chemical industry in India is huge and very diverse. It has both large-scale and small-scale units. But here's a fun fact. The chemical industry is its own biggest customer. How? Well, it uses the chemicals it produces as raw materials to make other, more complex chemicals.
Broadly, chemicals are of 2 types. First, we have inorganic chemicals. Think of things like sulfuric acid, which is used to make fertilizers, or soda ash, which is needed for making glass and soaps. Then, we have organic chemicals. These include petrochemicals, and they are used to make things like synthetic fibers for clothes, rubber, plastics, and even important medicines.
Have you ever wondered why organic chemical plants are often built right next to oil refineries? Well, there's a very simple and logical reason. You see, when oil refineries process crude oil, they produce byproducts, and these are called petrochemicals. These petrochemicals are the main raw material for the organic chemical industry. So by setting up the plant close by, they save a lot of money on transporting these materials. It just makes perfect sense.
Okay, let's just take a small pause and quickly recap. The main thing to remember about the chemical industry is that it's very diverse, and where a chemical plant is located often depends on where it can get its raw materials easily.
Now, let's move on to our second core industry for today. This is the fertilizer industry, and it plays a huge role in ensuring that we have enough food to eat in our country. Fertilizers are absolutely essential for our farmers. You can think of them as special food for the soil. They give the soil the nutrients that crops need to grow well. And after the Green Revolution in India, which focused on increasing food production, the fertilizer industry became more important than ever.
You might have heard the term NPK fertilizers. It sounds a bit technical, doesn't it? But it's actually very simple. N stands for nitrogen, which helps plants grow healthy leaves. P is for phosphate, which is important for strong roots and flowers. And K is for potash, which helps with the overall health and strength of the plant. So NPK is like a complete and balanced diet for the crops.
Now, a common question comes up here. India produces a lot of nitrogen and phosphate fertilizers, but why do we have to import all of our potash? The reason for this is very straightforward. Potash is a mineral, which means it needs to be mined from the ground. And unfortunately, India simply does not have any natural reserves of potash that we can use. So we have to import 100% of the potash we need from other countries. So, after the Green Revolution, the fertilizer industry spread to many parts of India. Today, about half of the country's total fertilizer production comes mainly from states like Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Kerala.
And that brings us to our third and final industry for today, the cement industry. If the fertilizer industry helps feed our nation, then the cement industry helps build our nation. It is the very foundation of our country's infrastructure.
Just think about it for a moment. Every single construction activity needs cement. The house you live in, the school you go to, the factories, roads, bridges, airports, and even those huge dams. None of them could be built without the cement industry.
So what is cement made of? Well, the main raw materials are limestone, silica, and gypsum. And if you notice, they all share one key characteristic. They are all very bulky and very heavy. Now, because these raw materials are so heavy, it directly decides where cement plants are built. It's very expensive to transport such bulky materials over long distances. So it makes much more sense to build the cement plant right near the quarries where these materials are mined. It's much cheaper to transport the final bags of cement to the market instead. All right, we've covered quite a bit today. So let's do a quick summary and look at the most important takeaways for each of these core industries.
So, to summarize, the chemical industry creates the essential building blocks for many other industries. The fertilizer industry helps to feed our nation by giving crops the nutrients they need, and the cement industry helps to build our nation with plants located near their heavy raw materials. Each one is so important for our country's progress. Now, before we finish, I have a little something for you to think about. When you go home today, just look around you. How many things can you find, like soaps, paints, or plastic items, that are made thanks to the chemical industry?
And here's one final thought. Think about why we often call the fertilizer industry and the cement industry the backbone of our country's development. How do these industries help India grow and become stronger? I hope you enjoyed learning about these industries today. Thank you for listening.